Are we live?
Ooh.
Okay. Confirmation. Hey everyone. Hello. People already in the chat. Let's go. Hey Archangel. Hey Desert Rambler. How's it going? How's your Tuesday night? It's been a while. I'm just getting back into the swing of this. Let me know if there's any audio problems. Hello. But I'm very excited to catch up with you guys. It's been like, it's got to be about a year at least since I've last streamed. So, in many ways, a lot to catch up on. In many ways, not much to catch up on. It's been a blur of a year. But, you know, I got a new song coming tonight at midnight. So that's exciting. It'll be something to show for this long year. You woke up from a nap? Hell yeah. Yeah, that's the time of year for that. I don't know if you guys are in the Northeast, but it's been very rainy. Rainy, nasty. I haven't been outside at all. Hello. Hey, Spirit Engine. Nice to see you guys. What's new? Any updates on your lives? How was my day? My day was pretty good. I've just been getting things ready for the release. I'm also working on a DJ set. I'm getting some new tracks together to play for you guys. I'm going to be streaming next week, doing my DJ sets again, because I know that's been heavily requested for a long time. So yeah, I'm getting myself busy again, because I think for a while I've just been kind of isolated down in my basement and have been working on a lot of music, but I feel like I haven't really like interacted with people in a while. So it's feeling a little, I don't know, sometimes it feels a little empty when you don't have, you know, the response. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. But yeah, beyond that, yes, we're back. We're trying. Hey, Heaven Sample, Chris in the chat, my drummer. Let's go. Yeah, this year's been a little quiet, but I did go on a short tour with Chris, out in the West Coast. So that was fun. West Coast is fucking great. They were so hype and probably my favorite shows I've ever played. Finishing up an essay. I don't miss that. Yeah, super fun. I would say LA might have been my favorite show of the entire tour. It was like a late night show, and by the time I played, everyone was like pretty shit-faced and just psyched. The energy was potent. So that was fun. Drummer extraordinaire, yes, indeed. So I'll just wait for more people to arrive, but I want to play the song for you guys before it's out and maybe talk a little bit about just my journey to get to the track and the lyrics of this song. I feel like in many ways it's kind of like a summary of a lot of things that have been going on in my life. So yeah, it'll be a good opener for like the vibe that you might start hearing. This song is going to be on my next record, so it'll be a taste of the vibe for the next record for sure too. West Coast was a crazy lit movie. It really was. And we hit some spots on the East Coast as well, but it was a short tour. I really do want to tour for a longer stint next time. I feel like I didn't get my fix. And maybe hit some spots I haven't played yet. Because honestly, there's a lot of places I have not played. So maybe somewhere down in Florida and Texas, Midwest. Yeah. What else? Oh, I brought a friend. She's with me right now. I realized that it might be a mistake because she sheds a lot. But this is my new dog. This is Yoda. Say hi. She's pretty freaked out right now. She's shaking. Yoda is so I have my other dog, Micah, and he's a big boy. He's a retriever mix. I've never been a small dog person, but in late spring, I was going for a late night walk. It was like 2 a.m. And me and my partner, we were walking by the cemetery near us, and normally there's a bunch of stray cats that hang out because people leave cat food. But this time I saw a shadow that looked a little bit different than a cat, and I thought it was like a raccoon maybe or a fox. And when I got closer, turned out to be a little dog. So I picked her up, brought her back. She had no collar on. She was pretty freaked. Like, I don't know how long she was out there for, but she seemed pretty freaked out. And she wasn't in good shape. Like, her fur was kind of matted, and she was just really scared and quiet. And I took her to the vet, and we looked for a microchip, and there was no name. We put posters everywhere. No one claimed her, so then she became ours. And within like a month or so, her personality shifted like crazy. She wouldn't even walk outside. But then one day I went to take my other dog out, and she was like trying to tag along, and she was like insisting on it. So I put the leash on her, and then all of a sudden she was like right out the door. And yeah, she has crazy energy now. She's got spunky energy. Yeah. Poor thing, but she's very happy now. Her favorite thing is running around in the grass, and she gets the most insane zoomies. It's really funny. Yeah. To be honest, I wasn't planning on keeping her because I was like, oh, 2 dogs are going to be a lot of work. And I'm in a pretty small apartment, but she's so chill, like so low maintenance. She's potty trained, and she has a lot of gratitude. Like, she's just very happy to be alive. So, yeah, she's mine now. And, that's probably my biggest update of the year, to be honest. What's new with you guys? Anything? What music have you been listening to? Any album of the year lists? For me, honestly, like, I feel like I'm living under a rock right now, so I probably do need some recommendations. I feel like most of my end of the year list comes from the DJs that have come through work, because I work with a new Hatchie. Yeah, I work with a bunch of DJs, and they'll play their new stuff. So like all my entire list is just DJs from work. Really, the new Hatchie is really good. I haven't listened to the full album though. I'd say James K is like probably top of the list for me though. Oh, Archangel released a collab album. That's cool. Congrats. I don't know who Sam Galatry is. That's cool. I'll check that one out. Nourished by Time, James K. Those are always like really good ones. Oh, and the new Danny Brown. Yeah, I saw some names, some collabs on that record. I feel like that was like a really big collab record. And also for me, for my list, it's all pretty much all the artists on music website on my label. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, my birthday is tomorrow, but I'm celebrating early. So yeah, it's also my birthday coming up, which is exciting, slightly daunting, but exciting. And I got a really cool gift today. I got a new guitar. So that's really awesome because, well, it's just a very sweet gift, but I've been playing the same guitar for over a decade now, and it happens to be my first guitar I ever got. So now I officially have a new one. I always wanted a Jazzmaster. So that was a pretty good birthday gift. I feel like now my songs might sound a little better. Might sound a little better with a actually like properly tuned guitar now. Thank you guys. How long should I wait to play the song? What do you think? Should I wait? Should I keep the suspense going and just ramble? Thank you. Chris says show it. Okay. Yoda's gonna freak out though. Here's a new guitar. I'm not rocking the red anymore. This is my blue season. Here it is. It matches the single art. Look at that. So the cool thing about a Jazzmaster is it has a bit of a longer neck. So more room to play. Yeah. I really like the blue. It matches completely. Look at that. Oh, Daffodil likes the blue. I could understand that. Yeah, it's really sick. It's American made. That's expensive. It was a very nice gift. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you. Thank you. For the best jazz artist in the game. I wish. Okay. Hype me up to play the song, and I will. Lots of people in here today. Hell yeah. Okay. One from Desert Rambler. Play it? Okay. I wrote down the lyrics so you guys can like follow along with the lyrics because I feel like the lyrics are kind of important. And I know sometimes that the lyrics get buried in my songs a little bit, so I wanted to like showcase them this time. Okay. Looks like enough people are here, so I'm going to do it. Three, two, one. Thank you. Thanks for, oh my God, look at this fucking mess. I have hair everywhere. Dog hair. Thank you guys. Yeah. This is a good introduction to the new sound. I guess you could say new sound. I feel like I've been sitting on this vibe for a very long time, probably even before this Infinite. So to me, it feels very me. It feels like finally people get to hear maybe my voice now, because I've said in like previous streams that this Infinite was like kind of my younger self coming out and like honoring her voice, and so I had to kind of like put a lot of my current influences to the side for that record. So I feel like now it's kind of like tapped back into the present moment and everything that I've been consuming for the past however many years. Hooverphonic, yeah, thank you. They're sick. Yeah, I'll say like honestly, since this project started, like that's when I really started getting into 90s rave, which is kind of interesting because when I put out Us Ephemeral, people kept telling me that it sounded a lot like Opus 3 and Orbital, and I hadn't really gotten into that music at that point. So it was like through my own music, I started delving into those artists, and then it just started becoming like my favorite sound. So I actually have Kirsty Hackshaw framed on my wall from Opus 3 as like a guiding force for me. But yeah, so like that's always going to be permeating through all of my new music, I would say. Yeah, Orbital's my favorite. I saw them live a couple years ago, and it was the first time I cried at a show. So yeah, I think a big thing is like incorporating all the different sounds I love. So there's like a little bit of guitar, and then the acid synth is like I can't go without it in any of my new songs. So you'll be hearing a lot of that. I've been fucking around a lot with my TD3, so that has been making an appearance. And yeah, just like that, just kind of the rave sound in conjunction with a little bit of that dream pop vibe, and it's just all the sounds I love in once. So I feel excited of like finally to have this out. I feel like I can really like properly advocate for myself for the first time, because I feel really aligned with what I'm making, and I never really knew if I was gonna get to this point as an artist. I just thought like maybe you'll always kind of feel a little bit outside of your pocket, but honestly, like there's a lot of stuff that I've been making and that I have finished that I feel really proud of, and I can go back to it and like actually listen to it and be like, yeah, if I wasn't me, I'd probably actively listen to this. So that's a good feeling. While nothing will always find a way in. Probably true. Yeah. I'm just getting back to your messages. Yeah, the TD3 is cool. I feel like it was a huge learning curve to program it internally. So I've been doing a lot of MIDI to external instrument out to the TD3, which makes it a lot easier for me. But it's pretty sick. It's got like a fat, juicy vibe to it. The new album, it's TDD, or TBD. It will probably be in 2026. But I'm not totally finished with it yet, and there's a lot of other stuff I'm working on, so sometimes I get a little distracted. I have some like dance stuff that I really do want to put out as well. So I don't know if like that'll come first or not. It's kind of just wherever the force takes me. I think I'm just gonna keep working on stuff, and sometimes it'll be like, oh, I'm gonna put this in the dance folder. Other times I put it into my album folder. So I can't really control a lot of that. It's just kind of like whatever is inspiring me in the moment. So hopefully sooner than later. But I'll say 2026. That's the plan. Yeah, Yoda's around to control the force. Yes, dance EP. And actually, I am planning on putting some of the new dance stuff in my DJ mixes, so you guys can get like a sneak peek of some of the dance stuff I'm working on. And that'll be a good trial and error for me. Especially when I'm like mixing it in with other dance tracks to see how it kind of flows. Yeah, I like psytrance. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool artists, modern artists out there that I've been kind of studying for a while that do a really, really tasteful take on psytrance, because there's definitely like an extreme to that where it can feel a little cheesy maybe at times, but there's a nice pocket for that. And I actually, in my DJ set next week, you'll hear some of that for sure. What else could I say? Okay, so this song. So you were able to read the lyrics, which is good. So the lyrics are pretty like deep and existential. I don't know if that's like too atypical for me. I think all of my lyrics in the past have been, a lot of them have been kind of like leaning into existential thought. Some of them have been a bit spiritual minded, but I would say that all of my previous work, it's kind of been like my music has been a tool for me to sort of journey into those ideas. And I think that I actually had a weird relationship with my spirituality for a long time, probably my whole life. So I kind of fell into a very like strong materialist way of thinking, where it's like, well, if it couldn't be proven by science, it's not really something I believe. So like anything that was observable was where my belief system stood. Not to say that I wasn't open-minded, but that's kind of where my thinking lied. And then I think like during the year I was making this Infinite, I was in a weird place. Like that's kind of why the album happened, because it was in many ways it was like a huge distraction from my emotional state. So if I wasn't working on the album, I would probably be like bed rotting a lot. And one thing I kind of fell into was watching these videos about people's near-death experiences. And I think I was just looking for, I was definitely looking for a way out of my rigid thinking, and maybe looking for a sense of hope too. But I started listening to these stories just kind of with an open mind, but a critical mind at the same time. And I started like really seeing these like insane parallels in what everyone was saying. And the fact that they weren't talking about their experiences in a very religious manner. It was a very like secular way of communicating their experience, that almost at times would kind of dive into like what quantum physics has described. And it just got to a point where I was really like, these people weren't lying. I mean, you always get some stragglers on the internet that are just like trying to just get clout or whatever, but I felt a level of sincerity in so many of these stories, and it really started rubbing off on me, and it really opened my mind to like a whole different way of thinking and a whole new belief system, and to something much greater than this material world. I knew I was going to get kind of deep in this one, but and then at the same time, I think like last year there was just a lot of like, and not just last year, I think there's been kind of this theme happening, an ongoing theme, where I don't know, I just saw like a lot of death around me, and I guess it can sound kind of dark, but it felt like it was all kind of lining up at the same time, and it just I had this song written without the lyrics, and so like at the time, like my grandmother had just passed away recently, and then I had a friend from high school pass away that last winter, and then like pretty soon after, David Lynch passed away, and his death really affected me. I am not like a huge film buff, but I dabbled in transcendental meditation here and there, and his words always really inspired me. And so after he passed away, I joined like we just kind of sat there, and we all it was just like a collective meditation session, and I don't know, I had like this kind of like moment of awakening or something, where I just kind of like really not just like believed in something greater, but like I felt it. Like I felt like it was like a knowing. And so when I went to write the lyrics to this song, I feel like a lot of the words I say are like relating to like David Lynch's advice and his thoughts on transcendence and like the ocean of consciousness. And then also sort of looking at the concept of death in a more I wouldn't say optimistic, but like in a less fearful way, in a more curious way. And so the lyrics are very much reflecting that. I'm kind of jumbling my words right now because it is a really huge concept. But I really tried to like fit that into this song. And I also have been really struggling. I think a lot of us as artists probably feel this way, but it's like you question why you're doing what you're doing a lot because there's not really a reward system, a material reward system in place for what we do at all anymore. So we have to really find, it's really a chance at this moment in time to like find a greater meaning for what we do. And so I don't know, I've been kind of like feeling like using my music as a conduit to understanding the world beyond this reality is like a big, it gives me a deeper purpose for what I do. So I don't know if I got way too deep just now, but and I'm trying to like keep my words on track. I feel like I'm like sabotaging this, but that's why I write music because I feel like I can properly translate what's happening in my mind, in my body, in my soul into a place that actually makes a lot more sense, because I feel like with this song, all of this is much better translated than everything I just said right now. So that's pretty deep, but I think that things need to be more deep. honestly. I just feel that there's too much noise going on in the music industry, in the world, AI slap, you know. I just think it's really a time to be sincere. It's a time to use music as like a church, whether or not you're religious. It's just a place to find a sense of hope and something greater than yourself. I think that's really at the core of what music was supposed to be. And then I think the industry kind of shaped that into this heavily consumerist, competitive landscape. And that really has negatively affected all of us as artists and as listeners. So I think it's a really good time to challenge that system. Yeah, I do think music is religion. I think for a lot of us, like, I mean, for me, the reason I became a musician and I did this was because music kind of made me feel understood for the first time in my life when I was a teenager. So yeah, it's fucking important, and we've really lost touch with that. So yeah, I'm gonna be more deep these days. I apologize for anyone that wants to keep it light, but it's a rough time. So we need honesty in our art, and we need depth. So I'm just gonna keep it deep. I'll give the floor to you now for a second. I'm reading. Oh, thank you. Eternal made your number 1 song on Apple Music Replay. That's awesome. Thank you. Ozzy's death was very, very sad as well. Yeah. It's interesting, like, I didn't really grow up on Black Sabbath or anything. I didn't really understand the impact of Black Sabbath until much later on, but I think people connect with Ozzy way beyond just the music. I think he showed this level of, like, I mean, it's always authenticity at the core of it all. He was a really authentic person, but also, like, he had a heart. He had a huge heart. I think, like, when we look to these legacies that these artists pass down, it's beyond the music. Like, there is a lot of, I think they're using their music as a conduit to, like, show that the world could be a better place, that we can be better to each other. And I think, like, Ozzy was one of those people for sure. Yeah, and I've also been kind of thinking about, like, oh, am I being too much by being this deep with my music? I've been, like, kind of like, is this too much to handle for people? But then I was, like, thinking about it, and I was thinking about the Beatles, and I think a huge part of, like, why the Beatles made such a huge impact was because they challenged society and they brought in spirituality into the mainstream space. And I think, like, using your platform for something greater than yourself in that way, it's like that has so much impact. And I think also I started getting really into Madonna this year, which is crazy for me. Now I'm like, damn, like, I should have been listening to her years ago. But she's also another one. She's a very spiritual person, and she really tries to use her music as a way of communicating that. So I've been using them as role models. The Eternal video is not there right now. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. So when I dropped This Infinite, it was kind of like the first time where I had to, between me and Chris, it was just, we were doing everything ourselves. I would say like Us Ephemeral, my first record, was a very collaborative thing. I was working with a lot of friends for the visuals and stuff. And this time around, it just became a project between Chris and I. And so it was a really big learning curve. And we were learning so many things, like as we were shooting these videos. And so there's certain things that I looked back on that I felt weren't, I just wasn't super proud of. And I felt like we could have done a better job at, because we just didn't have enough time and resources at the time to really achieve what we wanted with everything. So I felt that the Eternal video just didn't really convey what I was going for. If you really like it, I'm really sorry. And maybe I'm just getting too much in my head, but it's like, with my music, I've been doing it for long enough where, I can deal with imperfections, but with the visual side of things, I was very new to a lot of that stuff. So there's just certain things where, I didn't feel like it honored the song or the music enough to have it live on my YouTube page. That's the main reason. That's the honest reason. But we've come a long way since then, and we've been working on so many visual things. We've been working on so many videos all summer. I really wasn't working on music this summer, but we were shooting a lot, and we were filming a lot. And so I have a music video for this song coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. And that one I colored and edited, and I'm pretty happy with it. I always could be better, but I'm pretty happy with it. And so I feel that, it's all just a learning curve, and especially with the visuals, it's just a whole other hill to climb. And I feel like between Chris and I, we're at a like more stable point with that. So yes, that's my long answer. Sorry. What's the best way to support artists these days? Buy their records. Buy the physicals. Like, if Chris is in the chat, could you pull up how many streams you would need to equate to one album? Because it's actually absurd. Artists make nothing off of streaming. Close to nothing. It's abysmal. So when you buy their records, when you buy their CDs, it does so much for the artist. It means so much to the artist. And it's just a much better way to consume the art, because you're actively engaged in it. You are taking part in the listening process. So that's what I would say. Obviously, going to shows, buying other merch, buying t-shirts, all that stuff. And also doing what you're doing now is fucking awesome. Like, coming out and just supporting people when they stream, and when they, commenting on their, like, all that stuff. Sending a DM, reminding them of like why they're doing what they're doing. If you had an experience on the train when you were listening to a song and it almost made you cry and it made you reflect on life, tell them. Like, that is so important. It keeps the artist going. So there's so many things you can do. I think the least impact is streaming. because I think streaming, the economy around streaming is passive listening. So that's not really true, or it's just not the ultimate way of engaging with the artist and supporting the artist. Although streams are always, appreciated. You grew up in the Osbournes. So after Ozzy died, I started watching the Osbournes a lot. I really love that family. They're really sweet people. And Sharon is actually like such an incredible person and such a badass. And she was really the only woman in the industry doing what she was doing outside of Billy Joel's wife. She was really the only one doing what she was doing. And she kept Ozzy alive, that's for sure. Question. On a lighter note, what was it like working with TDJ on Into Dream? She's awesome. She has just great taste. It was kind of a dream to work with her because it was, it went from a point of not knowing who she was personally, but I heard one of her songs. I remember the first time I ever heard a TDJ track, and I made the statement, this song is perfect. And then she started playing or DJing in the city a couple times. So I came out to see her, and we linked up and started chatting. And then she hit me up a couple summers ago asking if I wanted to collab on a track. So it happened in a weekend. She sent me the track she was working on. I got it done within a weekend because that was the deadline, and it worked out. I'm like really happy with it. It proved to me that I didn't have to be as precious as I normally am especially with my vocals, because I'm notorious for taking a very long time with my vocals. So I was pretty proud to like come up with that so fast. And then yeah, it's great. She's awesome. She's I have her photo on my wall too, just like badass woman on my wall. But yeah, I really love what she's doing with she has like a remix or not a remix album, like a collab album that she puts out once a year, and it's like got like a whole insane music video that goes with it. High production. It looks wild. And she just reaches out to all these artists to work with, and it's a very community-esque situation she's got going on. And I think it's a really good model for how we should work. More collaboration, for sure. What was it like working with Wild Nothing? Kilby Block Party. Where's that? That was also a dream come true. Super dream come true. I remember, I have this vivid memory of listening to Wild Nothing it was like ski practice for me, and I was on the bus listening to Wild Nothing. I think maybe I was introduced to their music through like back when iTunes, they would have like a song of the week or something, and I think one of their songs was on that, and I think that's how I got introduced to it. So I was a fan for a long time, and then I met him through Beach Fossils because they're friends of mine. So I met him a while back, but nothing came of that. We were just, after the show was over, we hung out, and I got to meet the whole band, and they were super fun and awesome people. And so we kind of like became more friendly from that. And so I had written this song, but it wasn't done yet. And I felt like it needed to be taken to another level. I really like, I had the meat of it there, but it wasn't, I needed someone that was like a pro in indie rock. So I reached out to Jack Tatum to see if he thought he would want to work some magic on it. And he was super down. And that's how it happened. And it was sick. It's like, for me, when I was in college, being in a captured tracks band was my ultimate dream. Like, I had a vision board, and that was on my vision board. So that was close enough for me. I actually did end up being in a captured tracks band, but it called Heavenly Beat. But by the time I was in the band, he had gotten kicked out of the label. So kind of good enough. I'm reading. Oh, I gotta really catch up. You guys are chatty. I like it. Oh, yeah. So Chris responded. He said roughly 5,000 streams is one vinyl sale. Buy records. Please buy records. Doesn't need to be mine. It's just, that's how bad streams are. That's how bad. And I think that's specifically Spotify numbers you're talking about, but it's not really that much better on other platforms. It's a bit better in Apple. And Tidal's the best. Repressing of Us Ephemeral. I got you. Yes, heard. I think I have some plans of adding some bonus material when I make a repress. There were some songs that I had at that time that I played live that probably should have been on the record, but I just didn't do it, and I really regret it. So I think those will be added, and I have like a clubby remix or two. So that is a plan. But I understand. I think sooner than later. I don't have a date for you, but sooner than later. You have 2 of my albums and the Right Now single. You're a real one. Thank you. You're what keeps this thing going. Without Sharon, there'd be no Ozzy. It's facts. Oh no. Where am I? How do you pronounce her name? Nina Jurashi. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I've been hearing more about her. And this is what I'm saying. I kind of live under a rock right now because I know she's kind of blowing up. But I haven't listened to any of her music. So I know I need to. I've been in a dry spell of like modern music. Outside of Music Website, my label, I really have not been listening to a lot of new music. I think I'm trying to be like, sorry, there's dog hair in front of me. I'm trying to be a little bit selective about like what I'm consuming while I'm writing my next record. So, because that kind of sticks in your subconscious, and it really affects what comes out. So I'm being a bit selective. So just like a lot of 90s big beat and progressive house and a lot of like Jane's Addiction. I'm a big Jane's Addiction fan. You'll hear a little bit of that in my new stuff too. Is buying music on iTunes, Bandcamp, all of it's helpful, you know, all of it has impact. So however you can help, that is appreciated. I think the least impact you can have is streaming on Spotify, but I think we all kind of know that at this point. So yeah, I mean, and the vinyl records, like, so many artists put so much work into not just making the songs for the record, but also when they're creating a vinyl record, like, the art itself is a piece of art that is really nice to have in your hands. So just something to consider. Did my mic cut out? Oh, sorry. Wow, I'm really catching up. You started listening to This Infinite again. You love the album. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting when you put out a record because it doesn't really, I think you're so invested in the release of your record, you kind of, there's this unconscious expectation maybe that when you put it out, it's just, there's going to be like, you know, this immediate excitement, immediate hype around what you're doing. And the reality is people need time to let it sink in, and not just time to like be with the songs, but have experiences around the songs. So creating associations with time and place, that takes time. And like I could say for myself, when I think back to some of the records that have impacted me the most, they really connect with a very specific time and place and experience. So it's just, you can't expect a listener to build that immediately. A lot of times it takes sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes longer. But it's cool because now I feel like the record's been out for over a year, so people have built more of a connection with the songs and more meaning around them, and that's really awesome. I would say Bandcamp is the best for most artists. They're probably like, if you're trying to buy a single song, listen to a single song, or the record, just anything in digital form, Bandcamp has the best payout. Heaven Sample is a title streamer. You know, I was a title streamer for a second, and I was having issues on the train. The music like was cutting out a lot, so it was kind of buggy for me, but I might need to go back to it. Favorite trance artists? That's a good question. Well, oh man, I should have downloaded the photo. I just met Armin van Buuren a couple weeks ago at work, and it was so cool. He's a fucking legend. I didn't, well, the thing is we connected over TDJ because TDJ did a mix for his he has this like what would you call it, a show, I guess, where he has like, he spotlights a certain DJ. So she was on, it's called A State of Trance, so she was on that, and yeah, we started chatting. He was doing this interview thing at my job, and we started chatting afterwards, and his philosophy on life was like, I just connected with it so much. I mean, it sounds like he's really like changed his ways, I guess. He kind of hit a rock bottom, and now he's like a crazy fitness freak and everything. Him and his wife, he was on like the cover of GQ magazine, and But I don't know. I think like I've always felt kind of a connection with trance music. I think in part because it has this like very like has like an athleticism to it. It has it reminds me of how I feel when I'm running or when I'm skiing. It's trance like, and it kind of like has this rhythm to it that where your heart beats up and it's like a very aerobic type of listening experience. So I often meet like a lot of like athletes in that world, and so I feel more at home because I grew up as an athlete and I always kind of felt like an outlier because I was like, oh, this music world is not really, I don't really fit in here. Like I always kind of felt out of place because of my background. And it wasn't until just kind of like getting in the dance community and like meeting these people that like I met this one DJ. He would wake up at 5 a.m. every morning to go for at least 5 miles of a run. Even if he had DJ'd that night, he would always wake up at 5. That's a little extreme, but I was like, oh, cool. Like these are my people. And Kraftwerk was like a big thing for me. Not that they're trance, but Tour de France has a very similar quality. I mean, it's called Tour de France, and it's like it's showing the parallels between those trance-like states and the music that you can have when you're riding a bike or when you're going for a run. It's like this mind, soul, body connection thing. It's very cool. Okay. Picking up. I don't want to miss anyone. Jane's Addiction fucking rules. I saw Jane's Addiction second to last show right before they had like that massive breakup on stage a couple years ago. It was fucking crazy. It was so good. It's pretty crazy because I think it was a show after they got in a huge fight. Perry Farrell like had a fit on stage, and then it was done. It was over. I don't know if they'll ever get back together again. I mean, I hope so, but it was pretty crazy that I saw the show right before that. Alice in Chains, yeah, of course. We can't leave Alice in Chains out. That's been on repeat for me a lot this year. That was kind of our soundtrack on tour. We do need a music income tier list. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, we should do that. We should make an infographic. Because I think a lot of people are kind of out of the loop with how this works, and I think people want to be helpful, but maybe they don't necessarily know how. So that's a good idea, Fred. Charlie XCX, Vitesse X, and the XX collab. The XX would be cool. They were very formative for me in high school. Very. But I can't tell you when. Maybe one day. Charlie XCX and music website beef was, I don't even know. That just accelerated into something that I could have never imagined happening, but I don't know if anyone was following at the time. But so like when Brat came out, that album cover, it was like this, obviously it was the Brat green. And music website had just it was just getting its starts, but there were a lot of people in the industry following us. And we were doing a very similar aesthetic. It was a very gross green, kind of like anti-aesthetic vibe. say what you will. I believe more in the collective consciousness. I think people are reacting to the same things that are happening in the world, and so they're on the same wave. I see it happen all the time. So I don't think necessarily anyone was stealing from anyone. I think that's a stretch. But someone shared our logo with the same green and basically saying that, like, look, Charlie stole from this small label. And then Azealia Banks posted our logo on her story and just like teared us a new one. It was kind of nonsensical, and I didn't know who she was like yelling at, if it was Charlie or us. I don't know. She was just trying to have a beef with everyone, it seemed like. I don't know. But all of a sudden, we're a part of of an Azealia Banks beef as a small label. So I felt really honored. That was cool. That was a cool time. But no beef with Charlie XCX. Absolutely no. The mini disc is an artifact and so sick. Yes, and music website has been, we've released some things on mini disc. This Infinite was released on mini disc. I assume they're all sold out at this point, though. When you listen to my music, you get this projection in your head of where you were in your life when you first heard it. You were listening to Us Ephemeral when you became a dad. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's really cool. I want to hear more stories like that of like where you were, or like what was happening in your life when you were listening. Because so it's cool because when it's out in the world, that's not mine anymore. That's like something that paints, or your experience paints how you experience the songs and the album. So it's cool. It's like a whole different take, a whole different experience to have with the songs than I had. Have I heard the Hybrids Dog Star? I have not. That's cool. I love Perry Farrell's vocals. I really do. Especially when it's got that nice delay. There's something very ethereal and like anthemic about it. Did I like Brat? Yeah. I liked it. Yeah, I have nothing negative to say about it. I feel like my relationship with pop music is kind of, I just don't, I mean, it's funny because I guess people consider my music kind of pop, but I don't really consume a lot of pop music. So, I don't know. It was cool. It was like a good listen, but I don't know. I didn't have it on repeat. I don't have like a lot to say about it. But I think in terms of like it being kind of a cultural phenomenon, absolutely impactful for sure. Yeah, I wish Azealia would beef with us more too. But like literally though, like so many people were talking about the label after that happened. So it's really the best free PR you could ever get is getting an Azealia beef. You listen when you lift weights? Hell yeah. A lot of people say they listen when they go for runs and stuff to my album. So that feels very fitting for me. Oh, you saw me at Philomoka. Hell yeah. That was a really good show. Philly was also great. That was actually one of my favorites too. I don't want to leave Philly out. That was super fun. I think that's like the best size room. It just felt like perfectly intimate and like the energy was really great. And honestly, like Philly right now it reminds me so much of when I first moved to New York. It has a lot more of that energy that drew me to New York initially. And New York's kind of lost a lot of that. So it was kind of refreshing to like go to the show and like meet a lot of people that were just genuinely excited to be there and excited for music and music community. So that was fun. I did not listen to Deadbeat. No. I lived under a rock this year. But yeah, I should I? Should I? Is it worth it? Oh yeah, I guess it was BYOB too. Yeah. We had a show in New York that some shit went down. We couldn't, we were supposed to play on the roof and then I guess it rained or something. And then we moved to the hall. And then when we got there, they told us that it was going to be a dry show because they lost their liquor license temporarily for a day. So that was a weird one. That was definitely a weird one. But that was my first dry tour. Well, okay, so here's another update. I haven't drank in almost a year, which is good. It's good for me. I didn't have a drinking problem per se, but I really had not gone my entire adult life without having a drink before playing a show. Or really whenever I would go out, it was always just something I did. So it was a lot of new experiences this year doing things sober, which included playing shows completely sober. And I realized I play a lot better. I enjoy it more. So that was really validating for me. I just thought, oh, I'm going to be too anxious on stage, this or that. But once you get into it and realizing like while you're in it that you're not being sloppy and you're not missing notes, it's a lot more rewarding and you have a lot more clarity. You're really like experiencing the moment. So first dry tour for me, and it was fun. Yeah, I think I might be done with alcohol for good, to be honest. I don't think it really, I don't know what came over me. It wasn't like a specific thing that happened. It was like, I played this show in New York last year, right around this time. And I drank and it was fun. Like I had a great time. And then like right after I was like, okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm not going to drink anymore. And then I just stopped. It was just like this weird thing came over me. I think it was just, I wanted to venture into a different state of consciousness, feel a bit more grounded when I was out. And also it really affects like your priorities. You realize like you just don't want to do certain things. Like I don't want to hang out at a loud sensory overload bar. I just don't want to do it. And so now I just don't go. Instead of drinking my way through it, I just don't do things I don't want to do. And I haven't really lost any friends in the process. I just have to be more selective about what we do when we hang out. But it makes it better because I can actually hear what they're saying. So it's been good. my Kylie Minogue fan? Yeah, I like her. She's really cool. Chris turned me on to this record that she put out that's like way more left field pop than her more well-known records. And that was more like, that was like more from, I wouldn't say self-produced, but like she had a lot more say in that record. It was a bit weirder than her standard pop records. So she's a true artist. I really respect her. But I wouldn't say she influences my music too much. I think I had like a song on Us Ephemeral that was kind of influenced by her. Because at that time I was really just, each song I was kind of diving into a different sound and trying new sounds out. So Activation was like definitely influenced by her. And I was just kind of trying out that sort of Y2K pop sound for a second. But none of my new stuff, I wouldn't say. I think I'm getting a lot more into, if anything, Madonna will be hugely influential on some of my new stuff. Yes. What else? In terms of new music, I have so much, but not much is actually finished. So I have some songs mixed and mastered, but I'm still very much in the middle of getting this next record finished. And yeah, I'm still kind of deciding on whether or not I want to wrap up a dance EP before then. But and then I had this other record that I have been sitting on since before this Infinite. And that's not finished at all. But the album artwork is done. It's been like very much like the idea behind it fully materialized, but I just everything that I've been making is kind of just bouncing off of that record. It's like when I go to write songs for that, I'll come up with a different idea that kind of is reactionary to that record. So maybe one day it'll see the light of day, but sometimes I think that maybe it just exists to be for me to be reactionary towards it and make other music in reaction to it. But I really do hope it sees the light of day, because I started writing some songs for it like right when I got back from my Us Ephemeral tour. So that was a very long time ago. Maybe I could play a snippet at some point. I don't have any songs on this laptop. But yes, I just want to get in the state of finishing things this year. That's my plan. Impossible Princess. Yeah, that was the record. What gives me the most nostalgia? Just in general, or like music, or because I could say it's a feeling, you know. It's definitely a feeling. I would say when I'm off my phone for an extended period of time, that's a start. You start getting into like a different way of thinking that it's all of a sudden you remember. It's like, oh, I remember my head feeling this clear at one point in time. I remember lying in bed and just hearing the raindrops coming down. That empty space gives me nostalgia, straight up. Like that is what it is. It's the space where you can be mindful. And certain music kind of brings me back to that. Smashing Pumpkins. I talk about this all the time, but like, it must be so cool for Billy Corgan, if he ever thinks about this, to know that like his voice is infused with my identity. Like, his voice is the sound of my childhood, and that is a part of me. Like, he is a part of me. Smashing Pumpkins is a part of my brain wiring that will never go away. And all the things really that were on the radio at the time, but Smashing Pumpkins has a very unique place in my heart. And honestly, Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyros, Pets, that song, that's ultimate nostalgia for me. I saw Porno for Pyros a few years ago too, on their last tour, and that was amazing. I need the new Vitesse X album too. I'm like, I want to be able to finish everything so badly, but there's not enough time in the day. Album 3 is like halfway done. I'll just say halfway. And like, there could be songs that stay, or I decide to take them out. So it really depends also on like if I come up with some new songs that fit the album better. But I would say halfway. Have I ever listened to Ivy? I think I have. I feel like someone's brought up their name to me before, relating my music to them. So I'm almost certain I have. Now I feel like I have to look it up. What's the name of their record? Like a well-known record of theirs. The new metal shoegaze song I played in Philly. Oh, yeah, everyone asked me about that one. It's definitely one of my favorite songs to play. Sorry if there's buzzing. I don't know why. It's definitely my favorite song, maybe my favorite song to play, or one of live. That one is from that original record that I keep bouncing off from. And so that's why I'm so frustrated, because I really want to finish that record. But now I have this whole other universe I need to finish up first. So that song's going to be on the other one. So album 4. Yeah, I have a lot to finish. But I feel like once I start wrapping up certain things, all of a sudden you're just going to hear so much music from me. That's my hope, because there's so much that's like 75% done. So it's just a matter of finishing all the stuff, and then maybe you'll just be hearing from me all the time. Yeah, apparently Smashing Pumpkins is blowing up on TikTok now. Billy Corgan was talking about this on an interview, and he even he was saying he just thinks that it's just a really, like, it kind of it's reflective of that teenage angst, I guess you could say. I think it's like a timeless feeling, but it's so cool that it's so generational and that it's just stuck through all these decades. The Shallow Hal soundtrack. Oh man, that's nostalgia. that movie would not fare well in 2025. Okay, Chris said he definitely. Shaq said he definitely played Ivy in the van. Okay. I'm. Part of me feels like my friend had sent me Ivy too, and was telling me I sounded like them. This sounds like a reference I've heard so many times, and I should know by now. I'm going through my messages. It's surprising how many Ivies are in my messages. I have a cousin named Ivy. I don't see anything. Ooh. Album 3 will help me finish album 2 through 4. Yeah. I don't know. I need to. This is my wrap up year. Wrap it all up. Yep. It's, it's a good problem to have. I'm not used to this problem. I'm still getting used to it. I think when I started producing for real, that was really when Vitesse started. So everything was treated so precious. Every song I wrote, I thought would be the last. That's how it felt. It felt like everything I wrote, I gave it a time and place, and really was like, if I started something, I had to finish it because I didn't know if there would ever be another idea. And then as my chops started getting up, as my creative chops started getting up, I became I had a fever. I was like, oh, I can do this and I can do this. And it was like, the world's my oyster all of a sudden. I can try all these different things. I can do all these different sounds. And that has become a problem in and of itself, but a good problem. So now I have to figure out how to stick to one idea and really give it time now. 'Cause that being overly inspired is a unique thing. It's a unique one. I never thought that I would have a problem of being too inspired, but I got to that point last year, and I think I got so overwhelmed I stopped working on music for a second, among other reasons. I had a crazy, I think I started not going online as much and stuff. I was having crazy issues at my apartment. I made a post about it last year, but I had a really, really, really bad rat infestation to the point where we could have sued the landlord, and it would have been pretty bad for them, but we didn't, because I just didn't want to deal with any legal stuff, but it got handled. But because of it, I just started looking for a different place to live. I was looking for houses potentially. I was I was just in a state of manic, I gotta get out of here. I have to change my life around. And so my music was placed on the back burner for a second. And now I'm getting back to those ideas again. And I'm like, wow, I have a lot of folders that have been waiting for me. But yeah, this studio is in my basement. So the rats were close by, and this Infinite was written while the rat infestation issue was going on, because it had been an ongoing issue for years. And so I would record into my microphone, and at times you could hear the rats, you could hear them crawling around, making noise. It was bad. But I always say this Infinite was written as a way of me escaping my current state of reality and going to a more positive utopian space, because my current space was quite opposite of that. This is New York City living. When I talk to New Yorkers about this, they're like, yeah, been there. And then I talk to anyone else that doesn't live in New York and they're horrified. Infinite rats. Yep. They were a lot. They were a lot. And they were huge. The size of raccoons. I'm not joking. Get on Ritalin. Oh my God. Bad advice. Get on Ritalin and wrap it up. Yeah, that's how it works these days, right? No, I'm trying to go as sober as possible these days. I'm really very present, for better or for worse. Will I start doing more live streams again? I'm gonna do live streams. Yeah, I like doing live streams. As long as people are interested in it, I'm super down. I'm surprised people want to hear me talk this long. But I really like it. I like connecting with you guys. I like hearing your thoughts and things. I think it's good to get feedback too. But I'm gonna be doing my DJ sets, so that will be live streamed, and playing some maybe unreleased stuff here and there. So yeah, I just want to make this creative experience a lot more in real time, more call and response. I don't play out as much as I'd like to. I don't play as many shows as much as I'd like to because it takes a lot of time to get ready, and I got a full-time job. So I've had to decide where I place emphasis on, and for me it's producing and making music in my studio. That's not to say that I won't try to go on a nice long tour at some point, but yes. So I forget what I was saying. Get on Ritalin. Maybe that's what I need. Oh, live streams, yeah. But I am live streaming next week for the DJ set. So I'm going to try to do that monthly. That's the plan. You also feel too inspired at times. Working on planning 2 albums and EP. Yeah. It's a tough thing. Because there's a level of grief that comes with over inspiration. Because you have to say no to certain things and you have to give up on certain ideas. There are times where you do have to give up on certain ideas, and there's a grief in that. So that's a whole new problem that I never experienced, but it's a real one. But I'd rather be in that position than in constant creative blocks. So, but yeah, it's tough to decide where you're going to put your focus on and where you're going to commit to. You could quit drinking because it's dragging you down spiritually. I think a lot of people are quitting drinking these days. I think a lot of it has to do with the economy. But yeah, I think people are, I feel like I'm noticing a shift. I could be in a bubble, but I feel like people are really starting to put their health first. I think people have become so disillusioned with the state of society and authority and the people who are supposed to be there to protect us. No one trusts them anymore. Maybe there was an ounce of trust at a certain point. Like I know my parents' generation, they had an ounce more trust. But these days there's no trust. So I think we all know that we really have to put our health first. And I think that's maybe another reason why people are starting to become sober and not drink as much. Honestly, I didn't know that While Nothing had DJ sets during COVID. I didn't even know that. That's cool. That's right, Sean. Hit subscribe and ring that bell. That's right. That I always forget to say that, but it does help. It does help. Yeah. In addition to, what I was saying with people not drinking as much, it's affecting the music industry a lot. It shows how the industry has really been built in this precarious way. The foundation has always been just absurdly unstable. And a part of that is the dependency on alcohol to generate money. And so a lot of these venues, now that people aren't drinking as much, especially Gen Z, I think also I would say that ketamine use is up. So people are choosing to just do ketamine and not drink, at least in New York. That's what I see. So when people aren't drinking as much, the bar's not making money, the venues aren't making money, and a lot of times they have to shut down just for that alone. Not only are ticket sales down, but people aren't drinking. So it's been really devastating for the venues in New York. But at the same time, I think it just shows that there needs to be a new model. There needs to be something else that comes into its place. I don't know what that would be yet, but I personally would love like a sit-down tea lounge. I love tea. Tea is one of my favorite things. So if I could go to a show, sit down on some cushions and drink some tea, that's the new model I would pay for. Hello, Nicholas. Long day at work, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'll stick around for a little bit longer. I could play the song one more time if anyone... Let me know if anyone missed it and I could play it one more time at the end. Just let me know. Because since you're here, you deserve to be able to listen before the song's out. Yeah, after COVID, I could see that too. I think there's so many factors. It's hard to say too, because I got older during COVID. So I feel like I went from definitely being at an age where people were partying and going out more to people ready to kind of settle down a bit more. So I don't know if it's also just like I was at a time in my life and the people around me were, and that's also a factor. There's so many things. But yeah, it's been a very, is so much transition happening, and we're still feeling so much of the fallout of all of that. It's hard to find like stable ground these days. But putting your health first is a good way of feeling some sense of stability. Or you could have a nice, relaxing smoke of crack, according to Spirit Engine. Oh, play it again. Where was the music video film for this one? I shot this one in my hometown again. So I don't know if you've all seen the Us Ephemeral music video. Excuse me. But that's one of my favorite music videos. That was shot in my hometown in New Paltz, New York. My hometown really shaped me so much. I feel so fortunate to have grown up in such a beautiful place. My parents are both teachers, and they were runners and triathletes, and so and there were a lot of like artists that lived in the community. So it had like this perfect sort of like blend of sport and art and nature, and I lived right in the mountains. So when I would go train for cross country, we would just be up in the mountains all day. and also for ski practice. And so I was always just up the mountains, and it really shaped me. And in the summers, we would go cliff jumping, and that's what we would do for fun. Like, me and my friends would go to the woods. And I think, like, I look back and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of how biologically we were supposed to exist. And I was able to get more of a taste of that than maybe the average person, I'm realizing. And so it's still the one place that can, like, fully ground me. And so I like shooting up there because I feel in my element, and I feel like I can kind of take people into my world. And I still think it's one of the most beautiful places, at least in the country. Like, the rock formations up there are so amazing, and there's, like, these lakes in the middle of the mountains, and these cliffs you can, like, these overlooks down to the lakes, and it's so pretty. So anyway, I shot up there, and I jumped in really, 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 really cold water, and it sucked. Multiple times. I had to go up there multiple times because I could only stay in the water for like 5 to 10 minutes each time. So yes, it was filmed in New Paltz, New York. I'm just going to answer some questions and then we'll play the song again. My thoughts on bit crushing. If it's done creatively. Oh, wait a second. Okay, I can't hear it, but Yoda's snoring. She snores very loud. My thoughts on bit crushing are, if it's done creatively, it's a great thing. If it's done accidentally, maybe not so great. I really started loving the sound of the bit crush through the band Broadcast. They are probably a great example of a band that does that very creatively. And I honestly haven't heard an artist do it better, more tastefully than Broadcast. So I love bit crushing in that context. Any more songs that sound like Bliss Beat? No. I don't think anything's gonna really be an exact sonic replica. I think that this Infinite is always gonna live in its own universe. That was really my fullest stab at indie pop, dream pop. And I said it earlier, but it's very much the voice of my younger self coming through that record. And I think that the things that you'll hear now are coming more from my current self. And so, not to say that you're not going to hear certain elements, but I think I don't know if I'm necessarily going to ever make like a classic dream pop song again. It could easily happen, and I just, I might just be saying that, but I don't feel that that's the direction my music's going in currently. But I still think you'll like it. Like, I think if you like Bliss Beat, you'll still like some of the new stuff. And I think maybe a part of why people like that song so much is that my vocals are more forward. I genuinely think that might be part of it. And tell me if I'm wrong. I am actually, let me know. Is that a reason why people like it so much? Because I can try doing that more. I have been trying. I've even been working in, I've been talking to my therapist about my relationship with my voice, and I might be doing some vocal lesson stuff so I can maybe feel a bit more comfortable to have my vocals more present, because I think I do sometimes hide behind my productions more than I like to. Any advice I have from someone thinking about moving to New York City from a place like Michigan? Okay, well, if you have a job opportunity, that's a good start. I hope it pays decently because it's really, really expensive here. I'm sure you've heard that already, but groceries are absurd. So as an artist, the financial bind is real. Most people I know have roommates. So you have to be willing to deal with maybe a tight living situation. I don't know how much you're going to be making, so I could be wrong. If you have like some high paying tech job, good for you. I would say, hell yeah, fucking move here. You'll get the best of it. But if it's on a budget, it's tough. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people I know have left. So I'm hoping with the new mayor, we might see some shifts in a positive direction. But yeah, I would say cost of living is like the main thing that really makes it hard. And if you can have a way of kind of getting out of the city enough, for me, having my hometown about a 2-hour drive north of here keeps me sane because it can feel very stir crazy. So, I'm still here for a reason. I still love New York. It's made me who I am. You have to come face to face with yourself on a daily basis. You're confronted with yourself and your fears and your anxieties, and you learn a lot about the thing that's there that is always strong and always just impenetrable. You find that thing inside of you through all of the just being exposed to all of the elements. So yeah, I mean, if you have grit and you're like willing to push yourself through that in order to like learn more about yourself and find bigger opportunities and be exposed to cool artists, and like I think it's so worth it. It was so worth it for me. But comfort goes out the window. There's not a lot of comfort. So if you're willing to sacrifice comfort for those gains, I would say hell yeah. Do I have a favorite Lil B mixtape? I do not. I don't listen to Lil B. But if there's anything worth listening to, let me know. Oddsucker? Yeah, for sure. Your favorite part is when I'm whispering for the bridge. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Oh yeah, if you're from the Detroit area, I'm sure you'll see some parallels. I'm sure that'll warm you up. Oh, I have a fellow December 3rd birthday in the chat. Happy birthday. It's so cool that some people discover my music in H&M because I was on the playlist. Yeah, it's for me, it's kind of full circle because I don't know, like I didn't like do cool things growing up except go to the mall. And so like me and my mom would go to the mall together and we would go into H&M, and I would hear a lot of cool music in H&M there too. And so now knowing that I'm on that playlist. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of full circle for me. Okay. It's time to play the song one more time, and then I'll let you guys go to bed. It's Sag season. Yes. And now you know the song, so you can. I'll have the lyrics up again, but you can sing along to it. That's it. I guess Yoda actually did calm down. Maybe she does like the song. She doesn't like getting picked up. Yay! So now you've officially heard it before everyone else. Yeah, I think maybe it is more on the ephemeral tip because it's going back to my dance rave influences. So, but you'll be getting a little bit of everything with this new music. So there's dog hair everywhere. But yeah, I'm excited for it to be out. I feel like very aligned with everything I'm making right now. So, yeah. Any last questions before I call it a night? There's a delay. Dog hair ephemeral. Yeah. It's bad. I even have a lint roller here and it did not do anything for me. Favorite tea, ID. It gives me this really optimistic buzz and I don't crash. So that's my favorite. Pineapple on pizza? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What else should I say? Song's out tomorrow. Music video's out at 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I put the link at the bottom of this. So if you want to save it, put in an alert, go for it. And my DJ mix will be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I'm going to maybe play an unreleased thing. I definitely have to like mix some shit better, but I might put a little snippet. What tea brand? I buy from Frontier Co-op. They're really good. They do like fair trade. Their packaging's like pretty eco-friendly, and they have a lot of good like 25% off deals every few months. So I buy from them all the time. I get like a pound bag of loose leaf green tea, organic, from Frontier Co-op. Album? What album am I most excited for coming up? Oh, wow. This is the first time in a while I feel like there's been a lull. Because this past year, we had so many album releases on the label. We had Tapeworms. Someone mentioned that in the chat. Hell yeah. Tapeworms. We had Sombrella. We had Pearly Drops, which was insanely good. You should check out the new Pearly Drops record, and the new Picture Plane record. Insanely good. So I've been just hyping all of that up, and now I don't know. I'm excited for mine to be out at some point. The new XX. Ooh. Yeah, I stand by that for sure. Fred, do not tempt me to take stimulants. Do not tempt me. Ritalin's not even the good one. That's the secret these days. If you talk to a lot of musicians, they're all on fucking something. It's tough. We gotta do it all. I'm raw dogging it right now, and it's hard. It's hard. Even the Beatles were on cocaine, so you know. I don't condone drug use, but it comes with the territory sometimes. Sober Vitesse era, yeah. I've been pretty sober my whole life, but this is the most sober I've been. It's a slap in the face of reality. But it's good. I mean, it's real. Yes, please check out the new Pearly Drops. It's so good. The new Picture Plane record. Oh no. Is the mic working? Let me know if the mic's not working. Yeah, Spirit Engine, you're right. I think it for productivity than being on Ritalin. I'll say. That's probably true. Get your smartphone out of sight. That thing this is the devil. It's stealing all of our time. Oh, that's my dog. My other dog. It's stealing all of our time away from us. Get off that thing. Good for you. 4 days? Hell yeah. Booger sugar? I'll be posting some. We can chat more about Ritalin and the new song. So thank you all for hanging out with me for so long and letting me ramble about nonsense. And thank you for letting Yoda get to meet all you guys. She's having a great time. Yeah. Have a great night. And happy birthday to my other fellow December 3rd birthdays. Love you all. Good night. Good night.